The economics of owning a Formula One team. Okay, so you want to own a Formula One team. Build the fastest car on Earth, hire world-class drivers, travel to glamorous cities, win championships, and watch millions of dollars pour into your business. Here's the first number that should stop you before you go any further. A modern Formula One team can spend well over $200 million a year operating at the highest level, even with Formula One's cost cap limiting how much teams can spend on car performance. That sounds like one of the most expensive sports businesses in the world. Because it is. But here's the part almost everyone misunderstands. A Formula One team isn't really in the racing business. It's in the technology and marketing business. The race lasts about 2 hours. The business runs every day of the year. That's the business. Understand that, and an F1 team becomes one of the world's most valuable sports assets. Miss it, and you've built an engineering company that burns millions every month chasing fractions of a second. Before the first race even begins, the spending starts. First comes the factory. Formula One teams operate enormous engineering headquarters filled with design offices, wind tunnels, simulators, machine shops, carbon fiber manufacturing facilities, and research laboratories. Then comes the people, aerodynamicists, mechanical engineers, software developers, race strategists, data analysts, mechanics, composite technicians, marketing teams, logistics specialists, legal departments. Large Formula One teams employ more than 1,000 people, and every one of them expects a paycheck whether the car wins or finishes last. Then comes the car itself. An F1 car isn't built once. It's constantly changing. New front wings, new floors, suspension upgrades, brake systems, cooling packages. Every race weekend becomes another engineering project. A part that improves lap time by just 1/10 of a second can cost millions to develop. And if it doesn't work, you start again. Now let's talk about where the money actually comes from. Most people think Formula One teams make their money from winning races. They don't. Winning helps. But the biggest revenue comes from sponsorships, commercial rights payments, manufacturer partnerships, licensing, hospitality, merchandise, and prize money. A title sponsor alone can contribute tens of millions of dollars every year simply to have its logo displayed on the car. The faster the team becomes, the more valuable that advertising space becomes. That's why companies fight for space on an F1 car. They're not buying paint. They're buying global exposure. Then there's Formula One management. At the end of each season, teams receive prize money based largely on their championship position. Finish near the top, and the payout can be worth tens of millions more than finishing near the bottom. Those few positions in the standings can completely change a team's financial year. But here's the hidden rule. Speed is expensive. Finding the final 1% of performance often costs more than finding the first 20%. Engineers may spend months developing a single aerodynamic upgrade that improves lap time by only a few hundredths of a second. To the average person, it looks invisible. To a Formula One team, it can be worth millions. Then there's travel. Unlike most businesses, Formula One doesn't operate in one country. It travels across the world. Cars, equipment, spare parts, hospitality units, hundreds of staff. Everything must arrive at the next race perfectly on schedule. One logistical mistake can ruin an entire weekend. Now let's talk about another hidden expense: research and development. Formula One never stands still. The car that wins today may become uncompetitive 6 months later. Teams continuously invest in simulations, wind tunnel testing, computational fluid dynamics, and manufacturing simply to avoid falling behind. Standing still is actually moving backwards. Now imagine the numbers. Suppose your Formula One team generates $350 million annually through sponsorships, prize money, licensing, hospitality, and commercial payments. Sounds incredible. But now subtract engineering salaries, factory operations, travel, manufacturing, research and development, marketing, driver salaries, power unit costs, corporate overhead. Suddenly, those enormous revenues become much smaller than expected. Now imagine the realistic scenario. Your biggest sponsor leaves. The car proves slower than expected. You finish 8th instead of 4th in the Constructors' Championship. Prize money falls dramatically. Future sponsors negotiate lower contracts because television exposure declines. Revenue drops. But your factory, your engineers, your logistics operation, and your facilities still cost almost the same. The team is still racing. The cars are still incredibly fast. But profitability has almost disappeared. You didn't lose money because the races stopped. You lost money because success in Formula One is measured in tiny performance gains that cost enormous amounts to achieve. That's why Formula One teams obsess over efficiency. Every upgrade, every strategy call, every pit stop, every engineering decision can influence not only championship points, but millions of dollars in future revenue. So, is owning a Formula One team worth it? Absolutely. But only if you understand that you're not really buying a racing team. You're buying one of the world's most advanced technology companies wrapped inside a global entertainment brand. The roaring engines, the glamorous paddock, the podium celebrations, and the champagne are what fans remember. The real business happens inside engineering meetings, sponsorship negotiations, wind tunnel testing, financial planning, and thousands of technical decisions made long before the lights go out on race day. Because the teams that become Formula One legends aren't simply the ones that build the fastest cars. They're the ones that turn speed into a business powerful enough to keep competing year after year.